Hey guys, welcome back! Alrighty, so it is Hyrule Castle time again, and I've mentioned to a few of you guys in comments that at some point I'd be revisiting this after I got my silver enemies all done. So I'm all the way up to silver Lionels now, so go me. But that being said, I am now back at the castle now. I kind of already did this a little bit offline just to make sure I could speak intelligently on kind of like what was what. Now, a lot of the loose stuff here in the upper part of the castle, the floating part, what I'm really more interested is the lower part of the castle, the part that's on ground level. But there are some things to kind of talk about on the upper part as well. First things first, a lot of the loose weapons are still the same. You know, you're going to find your soldiers or knights stuff laying around, Royal Guard, you know, gear, arrows, or excuse me, bows, claymores, broadswords, etc. But they're not going to be bumped. So, you know, pretty much what you saw in the beginning of the game, as far as the loose weaponry goes, is going to be what you get. So, you know, the Dusk Bow is still there. Again, all the Royal Guard stuff. The difference is going to be, not in all chests, but in some chests up here. Case in point, this used to be a Knight's Claymore. So now, later game, you know, after I got my silver enemies, that is Royal, and it is bumped. So, you know, this is the type of party it's going to be down below, pretty much every single chest down there. Earlier game, that was all soldier stuff, you know, maybe you'd find a knight thing here or there. Nothing was royal anything, nothing had bumps on them. So again, guys, this is why I left a lot of things in chests, and I think I even talked a little bit about this on my first castle raid. Speaking of my first castle raid, I missed a couple of things. Unfortunately, one of the things I thought I had, you know, experimented, but I didn't do something right. And thank you to Brad6360 for calling me on it. I missed a gold rupee in the King's Study, so I don't even know if I'm near the King's Study right now. Alright guys, so I'm close enough to it. I'll probably just hop over there real quick, but there's a couple of things I want to mention. So one is a room I just completely spaced on. And I'm standing kind of right near Zelda's tower here from the outside. I'm actually right under Zelda's tower. And, you know, her study or whatever. So there's a room right under here that, again, I just completely spaced on. And I hit this in Breath of the Wild too. There was an updraft here and some hidden loot. And it's the exact same room, but there's no more updraft there. And the loot's a little bit different. But there are some Royal Guard loose stuff in there. There's a treasure chest, kind of like where it used to be in Breath of the Wild on one of those rafters there. So I'm going to kind of dip my head in there real quick just to kind of take you through. And then I'll hit that gold rupee over at the King's Study. Now, you have to light the torches over there. And again, guys, I lit all the torches. I did the same thing in Breath of the Wild. Not just here in this room. There's a lot of torches there to light, but in a lot of these hallways. You know, again, it's a Zelda game. You always light the torches. So I had the right thought. But, you know, when I did my dry runs, I did something wrong there, and either I, you know, maybe didn't light all four fast enough, and I kind of walked around and did other things, and then by the time I got back there, you know, it was too late or something. That could be. One way or another, I did something wrong there, and I apologize, but that did not make it into my initial video. So I can't go back in time and make it right, but what I can do is, you know, get that addressed in a future video, hence the reason I'm making this return visit. I'm really just here to show you guys the awesome loot, you know, that has transpired since getting our silver enemies. But, you know, as just a little side deal here, I'll go ahead and drop down and do these other things real quick. Okay, so the other one, again, right under Zelda's tower there, you've got the opening, and this probably looks real familiar to you now. This is kind of where the updraft took us, and there was a ladder there and some things to do, another switch to hit. And, you know, nothing else super spectacular going on in here other than the loose weapons I mentioned and that one treasure chest. Okay, so there's another Royal Guard bow there for you. And again, all the loose stuff, this respawns after every blood moon. So, you know, in addition to the other Royal Guard bows that are laying around in Zelda's area and throughout the castle, you'll be able to find that one there as well. Okay, so here's one of those chests. I think this is the only other one in here. But I'll send a... ooh, check that out. That one's got a bump on it. Okay, so I'm going to carry that one. It's durability, so I don't really want it. But, you know, in the grander scheme of things, if it lasts a little longer with a Stallnox tipper on there with your bone attack up, you know, it might be worth holding on to. Now, I wouldn't use that as my Lionel killer because you're mounted, there's no damage, who cares? But I would use that for, you know, just other day-to-day combat. But honestly, I'm just going to leave that there because I want to come back to that later on and see if I can get attack power up on it or, you know, something besides durability. And while I'm running around doing stuff, I'm going to talk a little bit about video quality. And guys, this is something you've heard me talk about a lot. I'm not super techie, and I'm doing my best here with trying to learn as I go. But if I'm being honest, it's not easy stuff to learn. For an older person, I usually pride myself in being able to figure stuff like this out. In fact, my kids usually come to me, you know, to ask for advice when it comes to stuff like this. And normally, you know, that's backwards. Normally, the parents go to the kids to get help. But in this case, you know, like I said, I feel like I do better than the average bear, but I'm just not figuring it out. So what I'm talking about is there's a blur going on. So when I play the game on my Switch, or I'm playing it through the capture card and watching it on the TV, it's beautiful. The colors come through, everything is crisp, sharp, there's no fuzziness or blurriness, it's a gorgeous game. When I go back and watch what I record through my capture card, there's a blur there to it. Now, it's not as bad as it used to be with my camcorder, but wow, guys, it's definitely there going through my capture card. Now, I've tried 2 different capture cards, and they both do the same thing. The problem I had with the first one was I had some screen tearing coming through, so that needed to go anyway. But that same blurriness was there. So, you know, I spent hours and hours, and then eventually days, going back through to figure out, you know, what was going on. I can't figure it out. I played with settings, I played with just about everything I could think of. There's different settings in different menus, so, you know, either I'm missing something. As a matter of fact, I did find one setting where it kind of gave me the option to record in different qualities, and that was like through the file menu and then output or something. And I'm using OBS in case you're wondering, and I'm using the Elgato X60 or 60X. So I don't know, like when I'm just doing the default recording, it says high quality, and that's pretty much all it says. And there's another setting where it says indescribable or indifferentiated quality, but that bumps the gigabytes up like 3 times. So a normal video, say, is going to be 1 gigabyte. If I record that way, now all of a sudden it's a 3 gigabyte video. And then if I go the highest step where it says like pristine, oh, it wasn't pristine, there's another setting on there that's higher, but it warns you that it uses an insane amount of gigabytes. Like 7 gigabytes per minute, guys. I'm sorry, but I can't record that way. You know, I'd need like 5,000 hard drives hooked up to this thing. It's insane to even think about that. So, here I go, not multitasking while I'm trying to figure out how to get to where I need to go. So yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I must be missing something there because that just doesn't pass the common sense test. And, you know, I am recording, I check the settings, I'm making sure that everything is set. You know, I'm at 1080p, I'm at 60 hertz for refresh rate. So I just don't know what I'm missing here. You know, to me, in my mind, 1080p should be 1080p and it should be nice and clear. There should be no fuzziness there. But for whatever the reason, there's fuzziness there anyway. So again, guys, I feel like I'm just missing something here, and I really want the beauty that these games do have to offer to come out in the videos through the channel. So, you know, if somebody's watching and you're you know, having some thoughts on things I could check here to try to fix this, please throw me a bone here. I'd love to be able to get this, you know, issue resolved. Now, if the issue is the quality of the capture card, because I notice Elgato sells like $300 capture cards and even beyond that. So, you know, maybe it's just the quality level of the capture card. I don't know. But, you know, I don't want to drop several $100s if I'm going to sit here and still be watching the same fuzziness coming through on my recordings. So again, guys, I just feel like I'm missing something here, and I definitely appreciate some help on this. If there's anyone out there, if there's anybody out there, to help me out, I'd really, really appreciate it. Alright, so again, King's Study, and I left these weapons here before, just kind of out of curiosity. I kind of want to see what I'm working with here. Probably nothing, but, you know, never hurts to check. Okay, that's bumped. So some of the loose weapons up here will be bumped. I'm kind of glad I double-checked that. For some reason, I remember coming back through here, you know, like I said, offline. Then I checked a few random spots, and things weren't bumped. So it's kind of nice to see a couple of things in chests that are bumped now. So, you know, if you're going to revisit Hyrule Castle after the silver enemies are done progressing, you know, you might want to recheck all your chests up here on the upper level, the floating part of the castle. And, you know, recheck all the chests and recheck the loose stuff. And, you know, you might get lucky here and there and find some things with bumps on them. Okay, so getting back to the King's Study and the secret chest. Now, I don't know if I even did this before. I might have done that without saving the game, so I could actually demonstrate it. We're about to find out. Okay, one torch is already lit. So there's 4 giant torches here. Wow, I almost forgot how to play TOTK, guys. Bear with me. And folks, I'm having a little bit of trouble kind of figuring out how to proceed. I've mentioned a couple of different ideas in different videos now. I know this is one of the things I mentioned, you know, coming back to, but I don't really know. I really want to go straight to Gerudo, but, you know, for the purposes of a walkthrough, I kind of feel like I'm leaving stuff out if I do that. So I've just been kind of, you know, replaying from my last video that you watched me do. You know, I keep reloading that same save point just for, you know, to see what feels natural, to see what feels right, to kind of see what's beneficial, what isn't. Trying to keep all levels of players in mind also. So I think what I'm going to do is hit the Great Plateau challenges next. That whole thing in the depths where you have to, you know, throw the eyeballs down and stuff. It's fun. And, you know, it gets us bumped quite a bit with different perks. Okay, so there it is. I didn't save the game when I came back through here and did this. So again, Brad6360, man, thank you so much for having my back on this one. Again, guys, I ran through and I lit all these torches. So I don't know what went wrong, but for whatever the reason, that didn't trigger. And I never knew about it. So definitely appreciate you backing me up on that. Okay, just out of curiosity, I just checked that loose Royal Guard Claymore, or Royal Claymore there, and no bump. So, you know, it seems to be kind of hit and miss. When I just kind of came up here quickly, everything I checked had no bump. So, you know, it's kind of exciting to find that one in the King's Study that was at least bumped. So again, you know, it might be hit and miss, but it might be worth your while to run through the entire castle and check again. What I'm really kind of going after, though, is that lower level of the castle, which I'm about to hit now. Alright, so coming down from the floating part of the sky chunks here. So anyway, I kind of got sidetracked there with that whole King's Study. Guys, please be patient with me, and I'm sorry it's taken time to get through this game. And I don't even know if I've really talked about this even, but I knew Breath of the Wild long before I ever even did videos. Like, I knew the game good inside and out, and that's actually why I decided, you know, maybe it was time to do some videos. So, you know, I was able to just kind of... Okay, now see, notice here, guys. Everything that I left behind in chests down here at the lower level now will be royal, and it'll be bumped. So, you know, nobody wants long throw, y'all know that. But every chest that you left behind, the ones in these steeples, the ones on top, the ones outside, the ones inside, you know, check every single chest that you kind of left behind before, and you're going to get some really good loot in here. Now, don't empty them all out. You know, you'll probably want to keep some in the bank for later, but just know that they're there, and you can kind of mark the ones that you want for later, come back through, and... Wow, buttons. You know, scoop up the goods, and you know that they'll be what you want, they'll be royal, and they'll have some kind of a bonus on them. In addition, guys, lots and lots of high-tail lizards, and I think I misspoke on the first playthrough. I said hardy. In my brain it was right, it was hightail, but I actually spit hardy out in my mouth, so that was incorrect. It's hightail lizards that you're going to find up here. So you can take a picture of one, and, you know, search for them and find a ton of hightail lizards here throughout the castle. And don't forget your hardy salmon. I'm not on the dock side, but if you go back into the docks, you'll get 3 more, you know, hardy salmon. Pretty much all the other stuff, the crates that I found with hardy truffles and other random, you know, cooking ingredients, those respawn in time, and so on. Alright, guys, so back to the whole, you know... Breath of the Wild, you know, I learned the game, I played the game many times, and then I did videos. And when I did the videos, I just hit record, and I played the game through, and then I posted to YouTube. It was pretty quick to do that. You know, it was all done in one shot, and the videos just kind of got uploaded in time as, you know, that's a time-consuming process too. But as far as the gameplay and the recording went, I basically was just able to play the game. I knew it well enough to do that. Here in Tears of the Kingdom, guys, I just don't know the game that well. I learned the beginning parts real well. You know, I replayed that 50 times or so to make sure I was getting the good early game stuff going, that I was doing things in good, proper order. And even then, I still kind of wish I did a couple of things here and there a little bit differently, but overall, I think I nailed it. Up until, you know, a certain point. Now I'm kind of at that point where I don't know the game that well anymore. So, folks, you know, I'm doing my best, I promise you. I'm not going to abandon TotK by any means. But if I'm kind of taking a couple of weeks where you don't see TotK content coming out, that's the reason. It's because I'm kind of, you know, experimenting. I'm going this way, I'm going that way, I'm trying different avenues, I'm trying different routes, I'm trying to see what makes sense, again, for all levels of players. And, you know, I just want to make sure it's a good, thorough walkthrough, and that the overall walkthrough makes sense just the same as it did in Breath of the Wild. Now, that being said, it probably won't be quite as good as that, because, you know, you just can't predict the future, and, you know, I might find out 50 videos later, oh, wow, I really wish I had done that, you know, at that time. So, you know, I'm sure that's going to happen here and there, but hopefully, overall, I'll still be able to bring you, you know, better quality content as far as the walkthrough goes. Guys, I just have to ask you, please, for your patience and understanding in that. You know, what I should have done is when I made the decision to do this walkthrough, what I should have done is told you, okay, I'll see you all back in 6 months. And then that would have given me time to just sit here and grind on the game, you know, learn it all real well, play it all real well, and then I would have been able to upload, record, bada bing, bada bing. But one thing that I actually kind of like about doing it this way, and again, guys, happy accidents, is in Breath of the Wild, I didn't get a chance to get any kind of feedback along the way. You know, I played the game, it was already too late. It was already recorded and being uploaded. This way, I've actually had chance to communicate with a lot of you guys, get feedback, get, you know, perspectives, and that really has helped guide me. Things I didn't know about the game. You guys have given me some shout-outs on that. Things that maybe I didn't have the correct understanding. You guys gave me shout-outs on those. So, guys, I just really, really appreciate all that along the way. But what I really like even more about it is it gives me different ideas on what people find a little more helpful at different stages versus unhelpful. And again, I didn't give you all a chance to do that in Breath of the Wild. It was just kind of like, here's how you play, best of luck. Whereas this way, you know, I am taking a lot of that into account, and I'm like, oh yeah, good call. Maybe I shouldn't quite do that just yet. Or, you know, maybe I could have approached that at a different, you know, angle and make it a little more user-friendly for y'all. So again, you know, pros and cons to either way. Ooh, hot dog. I'll take a quick shot. But anyway, again, it's probably, you know, a lot of babbling there. I just really wanted to get that out to make sure that you guys knew I was not abandoning this project by any means. I just, you know, need the time from time to time to kind of figure out what I'm doing and make sure things are good and thorough for y'all. Alright guys, so that's pretty much the second revisit to Hyrule Castle. Again, as soon as you got all your silver enemies progressed all the way up through Silver Lionel, everything here is just going to be super fun, super immaculate. Go in here with a full inventory. I started talking about this before I got sidetracked once again. This way, if you go to a chest and you're like, ooh, I really want that, but not right now, I'll save that for later. Well, if your inventory wasn't full, you're just going to pick it up and it's too late. So, you know, always come in here with a completely full bow inventory, weapon inventory, and shield inventory. This way you can kind of pick and choose what you do want to keep for later and stamp, and what you do want to pull out of the chest for right now. Alright guys, so I think I've decided to do, again, the Great Plateau stuff and the stuff in the depths, and I'm going to do a little bit more depth stuff too. I might even kind of sidetrack and do a couple of looting videos. A couple of you guys have asked me to hit up a certain region, and they'd be pretty quick and easy to do. So, you know, I might even do a couple of small milk run videos too in the meantime. And then at some point I'll get to that Great Plateau Challenge. It's pretty fun to do, you know, in and of itself. So that'll be a little bit time-consuming. I'm going to have to break that one up. We'll do the depths part of that where the eyeballs have to get thrown down. And then I'll do like another video for just the looting, because the Great Plateau is pretty big and there's a lot to that. And I think if I tried to do all that at the same time, it would just be a big, long, like 3-hour video. So yeah, I'll figure that out as I go. But after that point, and, you know, doing the looting stuff, and, you know, I'll definitely start getting to Gerudo. And guys, there's a lot to do in Gerudo. It's a fun, it might even, you know, I might be going out on a limb here, but I think that's my favorite region. I just like the desert. I like the musics and stuff, that the gameplay. I like the quest lines, the storylines. I like having the princess running around with me. She's fun. I love her attack where you can shoot an arrow and just get the lightning strike. The Gerudo weapons are freaking awesome, you know, breaking those and then going down for the pristines. Just all the way around. Overall, I think Gerudo is my favorite. Now, just for aesthetics, I really like the rainforest. You know, nothing can beat the rainforest, and even the beaches for that matter. The ocean beaches. But, yeah, as far as the overall stuff like questline and everything else is concerned, the temple and all that, definitely really like the Gerudo region. Alright guys, so I know that was a lot of commentary and very little actual, you know, fun stuff to do in the video here. But again, just, you know, revisit after your silvers and you'll be right as rain. Folks, I hope that helps you all out. If you enjoyed the video, please take a moment to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Until the next time, best of luck and happy hunting.